Previously on the What the Hell Is Next podcast.
If I do anything you want me to do, maybe another time, maybe another life, you will be my wife and we'll get it right.
This is episode 6 of What the Hell Is Next. I can't believe I'm still going through with this. Just so y'all know that. But I am, and we're here. Hi. And I decided that if it did not fall in line into what I enjoyed, I was not doing it. I didn't care how much money I made. I didn't care what it was. It was all about enjoyment for me. And I really don't live a life for myself. I mean, I just don't. I believe that. People can say different, but this is what I believe. I literally believe that I died like my first suicide attempt. So everything after that is my experience is for everyone else, which is why I tell my business and which is why I share from my heart, because I am literally a vessel to be used. So career for me is literally pursuing the things that I desire to do. That's my career. Do I work a 9 to 5? Absolutely. I got a 9 to 5. I got a 5 to 9. I got a 10 to 7. All the things, right? Nobody can tell me what I can't do. The only thing that hold me up is me, right? Nobody can tell me what I can't accomplish. I've accomplished things that I didn't even know existed for me. Because another thing I am is obedient to the best of my ability. I always don't do it at the first nudge, but it will not be 3 nudges, because I don't play with him like that. I give him 2. Like 2 nudges. Come that second nudge, I know he's serious. I'll be like, okay. And then I go head on and make it happen, whatever it is I'm supposed to make it happen. So, because the reality is your career, your calling, all comes from you. You're the common denominator. And if they're fragmented, then you're fragmented. I know. You on my channel. Okay? You don't like it? Click off. But not before you hit like and share. Then you get to it. Anywho. Right, y'all know I go on these rants. We in episode 6. Anything's about to come out this mouth. Okay? Don't charge it to my heart. Charge it to the fact that I'm tired. I'm tired today. But I showed up anyway. Talking about career calling and alignment. Apparently I'm off. I'm out of alignment. It ain't even connected. Focus. This might be a blooper. Yeah, we're going to separate this because this didn't fit into nothing. Welcome to What the Hell Is Next, the podcast for those of us who thought adulthood came with a manual. We're going to laugh, learn, cuss a little, pray a lot, and figure this thing out one real conversation at a time. I got no more time. Oh, you're recording. Hey, okay, so this is episode 7. We're doing something different, hence the natural lighting. So you see me kind of squint a little bit. That's because the sun is like right here. It's okay. I need a little vitamin D, a little vitamin. So this episode, we're going to talk a little bit about money, moolah, chachis, moolah. Dineros, coins, stacks. And I really want to focus on the trauma of money, why we respond to money the way that we respond to it, some of the ideas that I have and some of the things that I've seen and heard in some of my coaching sessions or conversations with people. And usually the foundation of how we learned how to interact with money and finances, if you will, is from childhood. So it's usually what you saw your parents do or your guardian, your grandparents, how they paid their bills, the conversations about money. And I think I've said it in a couple of episodes before as it relates to, coming from my household. We really didn't talk about savings or 401k. My mom taught us how to pay our bills or how to pay on our bills to make sure we're responsible and accountable to keep a roof over our head, but didn't really go into detail about credit score and the importance of a credit score or the importance of savings, like those kind of things I did not get as a child. But I got as I kind of grew up and interacted with different families and different cultures and had different experiences. The biggest impact, of course, was when I had to move out on my own and be responsible for rent and my lights and gas and car note and car insurance and all the things that I didn't factor in, being at home, just coming home from school, doing my homework, eating, and, interacting with my family. So when we talk about money and we talk about traumas, kind of think back towards when you were growing up, what that looked like for childhood, what your parents instilled or your grandparents. Some of us came from a background of entrepreneurship where, their grandparents had businesses or their fathers were CEOs or presidents of organizations. Some of us didn't. Like, we really grew up impoverished, with the impoverished mindset, with the mindset of lack or just making it or barely making it, or robbing Peter to pay Paul, as people say. I started my serious financial journey, I want to say a couple of years ago. Let me back a little bit. 2008, 2009, 10-ish. From 2010 to 2013, 14, I was literally homeless. It's hard to find a job. I had just moved to the East Coast. I had a job and then didn't have a job. Then I was homeless. Really trying to figure and navigate that. I've never been in that position before. I always worked and always had money. But when that money ran out and I didn't have it, it was a challenge. It was a huge challenge for me. Very learning experience, I would say, and I would kind of share how that played into the seriousness of my finances today, because I learned from that experience. But I also realized that growing up, even though my father did the best that they could, it really stemmed from a place of lack, and not being serious about the relationship with money or the relationship with finances. So I was homeless, held a job, I stayed with people and did all the things. I had a roof over my head. Let me clear up homelessness. I had a roof over my head. I did not have a door with a key to it that I had access to, that I could call my own. So I wasn't like out on the street or anything. I always had shelter. However, the money that I made in contract assignments or part-time assignments or temporary assignments went to paying storage, paying my cell phone bill, and paying my car note and my car insurance. And that literally was just about it. I did not know where food was coming from. I had clothes and stuff, so I wasn't able to buy like clothes or anything. And I'll kind of talk about that experience in a later episode. But I also learned the value of a dollar, right? I've learned not to be so frivolous or so just, I can just get it, because I had no idea when I was going to get it again, right? Or when the money was going to come back. So I learned to really value and balance my money. I would say, though, that experience did leave me with PTSD when it comes to money. When my money gets funny, I literally panic. It's not as severe as it used to be, but I literally panic, because I can remember when I didn't have the money was when I got evicted and didn't know where I was going to stay, or my car got repoed or whatever. So when my money gets to a certain dollar amount, I literally sometimes have like minor anxiety. It's not serious as it used to be, but minor anxiety. I had to fix that because that was not the life that I chose to live. In addition to everything else that I was working on in my life. And I had a lot of opportunities and things happening for me, like writing books and having my lipstick line and, all these other things. I really, again, am focused on be this example, right? And setting these standards of legacy. So hyperventilating because I didn't have any money was not working for me. One of the things I had to remind myself was, you are not where you were. You're not in that place today, right? You get paid every 15th and at the end of the month. As long as you show up for this 9 to 5, you gonna get a check, right? Your bills are going to get paid. So when my money gets low, there is more money coming. Like, you don't have to be frantic in your spirit or in your mind or whatever because you don't think money is coming. As long as you continue to do, you will have resources. You'll have money. So 2 years ago, I think I got really serious about my relationship with money. So I really don't talk about money management as everybody talk about. I talk about, what is your relationship? Like, do you have a toxic relationship with your money? Do you value your money? During that time, I identified I was an emotional spender, right? My emotions was all over the place. So I bought every Coach purse that I ever wanted and every pair of Converse that I've ever wanted. That was my vice, right? Purses and Converse. But then I had to figure that part out. So it was like, I overspend when my emotions are out of whack. When my emotions are managed, then I manage my money better. So one of the things that I learned to do was to figure out what is causing my emotions to be out of whack. And what I noticed was, it was relationships, it was conversations, it was showing up, trying to be something that was totally out of character for me because of people or because of certain situations or atmospheres. People pleasing. I was a huge people pleaser. Like, all of those things caused my emotions to be out of whack, which left me as a person uncomfortable, which caused me to spend. But the goal was not to just spend so that I could be in the deficit or bills not being paid or stuff getting cut off. No, you have to be regulated so that your money can be regulated or your access to resources can be regulated. So I began to manage conversations. I don't have certain conversations that I know that's going to trigger me. I don't care who you are. I don't be in certain areas or be in company of certain people if I know that it's going to trigger me. Will that cause me to be by myself? Absolutely. But will that regulate my emotions? Absolutely. And so I had to do that for a period of time until I really got a handle on my emotions to not be affected by these people, places, or things, so that it won't affect my finances. So I started there. It was a very, very vulnerable and exposing time to kind of, come to those realizations, because one of the things I had to acknowledge was there was something wrong. And not that there was something wrong, but it was something wrong with me, so that I'm able to fix it. I don't think that I ever portrayed myself to be perfect as much as I tried to be. But to acknowledge that there is error within you, I think is just a human thing, period. Nobody ever wants to feel or be broken, right? But in order to be fixed or to get resolved, then I had to acknowledge that something was not right, and then be accountable for my part in it. So I did. I limited conversations. I've always been cordial, never mean. Hey, how you doing? Is everything all right? You good? How's the family? Good. Your health is good? Okay. But if I know that whoever I'm talking to on the other end of the phone is going to trigger me, once I get off the phone, That was the extent of the conversation. All right, I'm so glad you called. I'm glad everything is good, and I'm gonna have to talk to you later. It was a very, very, very hard thing because I literally had to do that with my own mother when she was living, because having certain conversations with her triggered me to no end, and I literally had to resolve within myself that, number one, the relationship is what it is, had nothing to do with me, and in order for me to be productive as an adult, or be productive period, that I literally had to set those boundaries up and come to some realizations as it relates to our relationship, and as who my mother is, like, you know, who she is. I love my mother dearly. I miss her tremendously. I do miss the conversations, but I do remember having to set those boundaries with her, because she triggered me. She just triggered me. And I know people be like, you got to honor your mother and your father, and you got to do. I never dishonored my mother. I never dishonored. I never disrespected her. I never dishonored my mother. I just knew that she was a huge trigger for me, which caused me to be emotionally unbalanced, which caused me to do detrimental things to either my lifestyle or my health, because I overate and all the other things. So started with her, and then really evaluating friendships and relationships, right? Everybody's not meant to be here a lifetime. You do have seasoned people, you do have situation people, but everybody's not meant to be a lifetime. So I had to be real with that, right? I had to kind of really identify who is my lifers, right? People that I grew up with, they were just there for my childhood, and that's okay. They may not be strong enough for my adulthood, right? Or people that I met at one job was just there for that part of my career. They probably can't handle my entrepreneurship, right? People that I met, you know, in this setting don't cross over to this setting, right? Really having to be real about that, because what happened or happens to me emotionally in my life mirrors how I treat my finances and my resources, because it's not just finances, my resources. So 2 years ago, I took a serious journey on my money, right? I've always been a coach. I've always, you know, I'm a hustler, baby. Yeah, me. That would be me. South side of Chicago, hundreds all day. Wow. You know, I know how to make $1. My dad knew how to make $1. I mean, money all the time. So making the money wasn't the challenge for me. Managing and respecting the money was where I fell short. And then not just managing and respecting it, but having a healthy relationship with it. So I was looking for a house, took my credit score serious, started paying off my credit cards and doing all these things. So I came up with this system about money relationship, which I actually teach now, because it's a proven thing that it works. It works if you work it. And it is going to take intentionality. It is going to take shift of mindset. How you think and how you interact with money. How you think and how you interact with your resources and opportunities. Because opportunities come all the time. I think in our previous episode, we talked about our callings and our careers and how they should come in alignment. That plays a huge part in it. Like literally. I am at a point in my life, literally, where I was at a meeting the other day and talking to my business associate, and we were kind of talking about opportunities and some major things that we have coming up, right? And that we were working on. Then she realized that she had a pot of money that she needed to spend. What did she say? Oh, I need to give this money away, so I'm going to need you to do X, Y, and Z. Like, just handed me an amount of money like in my hand, and I literally contribute that to the fact that I believe I have a healthy relationship with my resources. Do we argue and disagree? Absolutely. We're like disagreeing right now, because my resources and my money is saying one thing and I'm saying another thing. I really want to buy myself a graduation gift, and I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to make this happen. But I also limit myself. I only do a certain amount of affirms until they're paid off. I only do a certain amount of commas or afterpay or whatever until they're paid off. Last year I didn't use my credit cards at all. So all the money went to my credit cards, and I always pay extra on them to kind of pay them down. So if I didn't have the cash, or if I didn't have access to the cash, then I didn't get it. I didn't get it, and I didn't buy it. I really didn't buy any new clothes, because if you know me, you know I got a whole lot of clothes. I moved, it will be a year in August, Lord. I had so much stuff in that one bedroom apartment that my new unit, one of my bedrooms, I had to turn into a walk-in closet. And it's still not enough room. I still have stuff in storage, in my storage. It's crazy. So instead of buying stuff because I think I need, or I'm emotionally like, oh, I just want to spend, I am going to wear the clothes that I have first. And then I'll kind of incorporate some new items. But what I think I'm going to do is do an exchange, because it's a lot of stuff that I don't wear because I'm not there anymore. My style has changed. So I am going to start incorporating some new stuff. So it'll be an exchange. And I think I'm going to start doing that as best practice, so that I won't have an abundance of stuff like I have now. Like, I have an abundance of t-shirts. Somebody asked me why. Why do you have an abundance of t-shirts, Rush? I don't know. I bought them during the pandemic. Why? Because I had an idea in my head that this was going to be the style, right? I was going to wear t-shirts with blazers or cardigans, nice little dress pants, and a cute little heel. But did I have to buy all those t-shirts during the pandemic when I did? No, I was bored. Pray for me. So now I got to purge my t-shirts. But on the flip side, I don't want to get my t-shirts up because they mine. Anywho, I got off track. Get back to money. Okay. So when we talk about the trauma of money, I did my symposium this year, and we had this emotion wheel. And in the emotion wheel, it kind of really pans out what the emotion really could be. So one of the things with money, when you're thinking about money, what is the first thing that you hear when you hear money, right? Or when you hear finances, or if there's a certain amount, when you hear hundreds or thousands or 100,000s or millions, like, what is your initial reaction? Really being in tune with how you feel about it. That we all have a lot of trauma when it comes to money, especially if we don't have enough, or we don't think we have enough. There is no way you can tell me that you make a certain amount a year and you don't have enough. That's always my question. What are you doing? And why are you doing it? I sit down with my daughters all the time. I sat down with one daughter one time, and we kept finding the same $1,000 that she didn't even see. I was like, the numbers don't lie. She was like, but where is it? I was like, the numbers don't lie. They don't lie. So one of the things I had to do was literally sit down, all your business. Sit down. They hate when I tell their business. It's okay. They're my daughters, and I'm their mother. That's what mothers do. Sit down and write down all of your expenses, right? Everything that you have to pay out is an expense. That includes your subscriptions, that includes your afterpays and all the other little special things that you got going on. Any annual thing that you pay annual, anything that you have going out every month, sit down and make a list of those. And the best way to do that is to get all of your statements, whether you pay them out of your bank statements or credit cards or whatever, whatever's automatic, that should be on that list, right? So do all of those. Do all of your utilities, your rent, your car note, your car insurance, whatever you have there, right? Do those. I have a record of when I get my nails and my feet done, right? Because I get them done every month. I have that on there, all of that list on there. And so everything that I pay out, I tally, and then I weigh that against what I have coming in. If it's off, that means you are mismanaging your money. That means that afterpay that you did where you thought you needed that new bag, you probably did because you got some in your closet and it take up a whole shelf. Yeah, that would be me. I actually got 2 shelves and it's bad. So I haven't bought a new bag until I carry the ones that I have. And I've actually been carrying them, so I'm kind of proud of myself. I've been doing good. But that's just going to justify me buying another bag. It's, we got to psych our mind up. It's a mind thing. It's all a mindset thing. Also realizing that we have a mindset of lack, which causes us to have a response of not enough. So my thing is, why are you trying to pay off something that you can pay on or get like a good payment plan that will leave you in a deficit? I ain't never finna work 40 hours a week, 80 hours a pay period, and I had no money. I ain't got no money. I ain't never finna work. I ain't never finna do that. If I gotta create or set up a payment plan, because I know we do, right? I just did one. It's gonna be for the lowest amount, and it's gonna be for the amount that I said I could pay you. You ain't finna tell me how much it is. If you say I gotta pay you $150, all I got is $75. You gonna take the $75? 9 times out of 10, they're gonna say yes, because they don't want to not receive anything. Okay, good. That $75 go right in on my expense, but it's not the $150. So that extra $75 can go to something else. It's what I found out for me. Not, you all know I'm always gonna talk about me. What I found out for me is I have to do what's best for me. Right? I have to do what works for me. Part of that means I have to sit down and I have to know who I am. Any relationship takes communication, a little bit of compromise, understanding, listening, give and take, some boundaries. But any relationship worth having, let me say that, is worth working. What kind of relationship do you have with not just your money, but your resources, period? Have you called your credit cards and asked for a lower interest rate? Have you called your car note people and say, hey, I may need to refinance? Have you called your cable people and say, you know what, y'all ain't got no plan or nothing? I promise you, nobody wants you not to be a customer. I found that out on the pandemic. Every 90 days, I was calling. I ain't got it. What can you do? They always found something. But they don't know if you don't call. And usually people just don't pay. And then they mad because they just don't pay, because then they resort to, I don't have it, so I'm not going to pay. So you're not, and then that's a whole nother snowball of other things. So this episode, I really wanted to just kind of bring to the forefront the traumas of your relationship with your finances and your resources, where you got that from, because we got to get to the root of it. Can you change, right? Where's your mindset? I only listen to wealthy stuff. I don't listen to nothing broke. My podcasts I listen to, the reels, the people I follow, they all talk about how to make money, how to invest, even though I'm not there yet. But still in that vein of this is something that's possible. And I listen to people that have a story, and most of them come from an impoverished place, which means it can be done. One of my favorite mentors out right now, and she's well into 7-8 figures now. She has a booming business. She always giving tools, always talking about, finding yourself and digging deep and all of the other amazing things. And just amazing. But she's very real. She talks about her pitfalls, her valleys, her mountains, what's going on. And she really, really helps me to stay focused on the fact that it is possible. It can be done if you apply yourself, if you change your verbiage as it relates to you and what you have, and if you just be honest, right? And just be real about where you are and where you're going. You gotta have somewhere to go. A lot of us don't have a place. We don't have an end. We're just doing stuff, just moving, just being tossed to and fro. So I hope that this episode helps you to kind of acknowledge some things about your relationship with your finances, bringing some realities that, hey, I may have trauma. I don't have a healthy relationship. My relationship is very toxic with my money, or I just don't know, so that you can seek out what you need in order for you to be at peace. Because most times with money, I want to be at peace. Do I want to be rich? Yeah and no. Because more money, more problems. That's what Biggie said. But I just want to be at peace. I want to be in contentment. What? Have content. Something I want to do. But I just want to be tranquil. And be able to do whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it. So comment below and let me know if this helped you, or if you need me to talk about something else. As always, thank you for tuning in. Click like and share, and we'll see you next month on the next episode of What the Hell Is Next with Tonia. Peace.